Hello, and welcome back to the Coop de Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher, and we are here to discuss Manchester City versus Aston Villa from back on Tuesday night. Yes, it was heartbreaking the last minute of extra time to go down 2-1. Does this break our hopes of Champions League football? We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about, of course, the big match coming up on Saturday, the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley versus Crystal Palace. So we'll be discussing that and much more after this. Yes, and welcome back to Coop de Villa Live. We are back for another review, and we got Noah. How you going, Noah? He's in Gold Coast right now, over there, up there to watch the football, and so he's in his hotel room, and hopefully the Wi-Fi holds out. How you going there, Noah?
I'm good. I got a little bit quiet as well because my dad and my sister are asleep at the moment, but very nice weather up here. It was nice all day, and hopefully it stays that way for the time being.
Yeah, well, hopefully you get a good result in the football as well. Your beloved Sydney Swans playing the Gold Coast on Sunday, so yeah, enjoy that one. But look, we're here to discuss Villa matters, and look, the game on Tuesday night was a difficult one. I thought we probably deserved a draw. We played quite well, had some chances here, but Man City are tough. And I know we all predicted Villa might win on the last pod, but maybe we got a little bit ahead of ourselves because still probably the toughest place to go in the league, I would say, or one of. And that last minute goal just absolutely killed us.
Yeah, I think we definitely deserve something from the game. It was a hard one to take. A lot of things in the game went against us, and we can say these moments. People criticising Disasi, people criticising Pau Torres, but there's games left the whole 90 minutes, obviously, determine the result and what happened. Like, what if Rashford shot and then 18 seconds went in and whatnot? So, I think we deserved a result, but that's what happens against Man City when you don't take your chances.
Absolutely. That first chance came out of nowhere, really. It was just straight from the kickoff. Tillemans with a lovely bit of control and a lovely pass to Rashford. And he did so well just to twist and turn Ruben Diaz and got his shot away on his left foot. But unfortunately, just the width of a post stopped us from taking an early lead. And then sort of City came back into it and obviously scored themselves. There's a lot of talk about could Emi Martinez done better with that one? It was sort of an own goal, I think, really. There was talk on my commentary anyway that they were discussing at the goals people, I don't know who decides this, but the committee were discussing if it was an own goal or not because he saves it, gets two hands on it, and then it comes off his foot and goes back into the goal. What did you think? Do you think Emi could have done better on that one?
A lot of people are criticising the great man online right now, and I definitely think he could have done better, and he'd be the first one to admit that as well. He'd be very disappointed in how that goal went in. And is it an own goal? I don't know. I always think award the striker the goal if it's on target, the initial shot. I think it's a goal of Bernardo Silva, and it's just disappointing. It was their first shot on target, and it's just not how he wanted to start the game.
Yeah, and I heard an interesting stat, Noah, saying that since January, 10 out of 11 goals we've conceded in the league have come from the right back position. And both the goals, obviously, in this game come from that right back position. First time, it's Marmoush crossing it, getting past Matty Cash and cutting it back for Silva. And the second time, the killer goal, obviously, Jeremy Doku making Disasi look a bit silly and crossing for Nunez. I guess we'll get to that later goal later. But I guess the right back is still an area where I don't know. Have we really found the right player? We got Garcia, we got Disasi. He doesn't seem to play Garcia. We had, of course, Nedeljkovic as well. Cash has been playing as the starter, but that's surely one area that, I don't know, we haven't really seemed to find someone to just nail it down.
Yeah, it's a weird one, especially people on social media. They've been calling for Conser to go to right back. When he goes to right back, we're saying, he should be playing centre back, and you can't please everyone, unfortunately. And I would think in a game like that, I thought we would have gone Mings, Torres, and Conser at right back. I think just to be more defensively sound. That's just how I'd have done it. But obviously, I don't get paid to make decisions, and Emery's the man in charge. And almost worked. Almost got over the point, which I would have absolutely taken with your hand off for. And if you look at the second guy, and I will touch on it more, but I may as well say what I was thinking now. Doku actually takes a rubbish touch, which Disasi lunges in to try and get, and then he makes a great touch and he's off. You're not going to catch Jeremy Doku at full pace. But if Doku takes a good touch, I think Disasi actually wins the ball.
Yeah, or just jockeys him and he has to go backwards or whatever. Yeah, definitely. And I think he's a bit unlucky, and he had that moment against Kvaratskhelia in the PSG game where he didn't have a good moment, and he is a centre back playing at right back. It's like that is the issue. I mean, we have a right back on the bench in Garcia. He obviously doesn't trust him yet, or he's not quite ready. I'm not really quite sure what the situation is there, because every time I've seen him play, he seems to be pretty good, like fine, so I'm not really sure what Emery's thinking there, but I think it's fair to say he probably got that one wrong. Probably either leave Cash on the pitch or bring Garcia on. I guess his thinking was, we've got the cup semi-final coming. Cash is going to have a big game against probably Eze, for Palace, so maybe keep him fresh. But yeah, that didn't seem to work. But we got a penalty. We got it back to 1-1 in this game, going back to, early in the first half. We obviously go behind. It's a bit of a kick in the guts, and we picked ourselves back up pretty well. And Jacob Ramsey was brought down for the penalty. There's a bit of controversy about this one as well. Like, a lot of people saying it wasn't a penalty. What were your thoughts? Because he's clumsy and he definitely clips Ramsey's ankle, but he does sort of get a touch on the ball as well. And I think if it was the other way round, I'd be saying that it was a bad decision. I actually think it probably wasn't a penalty. But I'm interested in what you think.
It's a weird one, Scott, because watching it live, I've gone, that's a penalty. Straight away, I've gone, he's chopped him off, his foot penalty. But then obviously, it doesn't go to VAR, and when it does, you go, oh, geez, it's not going to be overturned, is it? It's one of those ones, it's going to stay with the referee decision. And then he gets called over, you're going, geez, I reckon we're going to get away one here. I reckon he's going to give it, because it's a real 50-50 one. If you like, I think if it was against us, I'd be fuming. I know a lot of Man City fans online aren't happy that it was given. But I think there's enough contact there to bring Ramsey down. I think Diaz is a little bit lazy and does clip him.
Yeah, he does clip him, but Ramsey touches the ball past him. And then he touches the ball before, Diaz gets just a slight nick on the ball before he brings him down. I mean, I guess, I don't really know what's the penalty these days. I guess that comes into it. But Man City fans and Pep were, pissed off. But, I mean, hey, I'll take it. And Rashford just cold as ice from the spot.
He was never going to miss. He was never going to miss against Manchester City at the Etihad. He loves it. And, geez, he could have scored a hat-trick. He honestly could have scored a hat-trick, Marcus Rashford. And what a return to Manchester that would have been.
Absolutely. And, look, Ollie Watkins was on the bench again. He came on. But, there's been a lot of talk after the game on the weekend about his comments and about how he's not happy. And I don't know if you've seen this, Noah, but there's a clip going around of Jamie Carragher that's dropped today saying that Villa actually offered Arsenal Ollie Watkins in the transfer window, the January transfer window, before John Duran left for Saudi, offered him to Arsenal, and Arsenal obviously like either didn't want him or couldn't come up with the right number for Villa. But what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that's true? I mean, Carragher seems to think it's 100% true, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm not on the inside. You know, journalists normally get these sort of things right. Do I think it's true? No. If I'm going to go with my heart and say that, I don't think that we would have shopped him around. I think he's our striker. Do I think he's probably going to go at the end of the season? Potentially. I mean, everyone seems to be up for sale these days. There's no one safe, but I'd hate to see Watkins go.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, like none of us want to see him go. Yeah, but I mean, if he was to go, then that's selling two strikers from the start of last season in a 6-month period. That's that's a big call. And considering we're definitely, it looks like, going to be in Europe of some description next season. Maybe not the Champions League now after that defeat, but hopefully we can still win our last 4 games and get there. I think that's definitely possible. But yeah, I mean, if we were going to get rid of Ollie and bring in someone, who could we afford? Who could we get that's better than him or as good as him? It's really a difficult one. There isn't many strikers out there. Look at, Arsenal don't really have a striker. Chelsea, have found it hard to get a striker. Even Liverpool, right? The champions, they're going between Jota and Nunez, and they don't really have a settled striker. So, it's difficult to find someone, and I think, hopefully we're not shopping him around, because if that was the case, we should have just kept Duran.
Exactly. That's why I think it's true.
Yeah,
that's real.
Exactly. Yeah. The other bit of rumor that's going around that's interesting is the Villa in for Kevin De Bruyne. Now, this has got me excited. We did speak about it a couple of pods ago with when we were on for the what game was that? The not Newcastle, the one before. Anyway, the PSG pod. Yeah. We spoke about it, and what do you think about that? Because obviously it doesn't affect us PSR wise. We get him for free. We just have to pay his wages, and he could definitely make an impact. I think, considering we're getting him for free and it doesn't hurt us PSR wise, I think it's definitely worth a shot. But I guess it's up to Unai, right?
Yeah, it's obviously up to the gaffer, but I just don't want him to take someone else's spot, and that's kind of my issue. Is whose spot does he take? Because I think our midfield's been great lately. Onana's come back in and done a great job. Obviously, Tielemans and Kamara and McGinn, he's taking someone's spot that's been developing over the last couple of years and whatnot. And this is why.
This is my thinking, right? My thinking is, if we don't make the Champions League, we probably can't afford Asensio or Rashford. So he might take one of their sort of spots, like an Asensio role, like a number 10. But hopefully we can hold on to those guys, and PSR is not going to absolutely stunt our transfer dreams and hopes for the summer. But yeah, I guess, Unai's thinking outside the box, him and Monchi, of how do we fix this issue that, Villa don't have the spending power of Chelsea, of Arsenal, of Manchester City, because our revenue isn't up there with those guys yet. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the summer with that one. One thing that might help our revenue is the plans that came out just a few hours ago of the North Stand being renovated and upgraded. So I'm guessing there's going to be more seats, but there's also going to be a real focus on hospitality, corporate boxes, things like that can really improve your revenue. I know that's difficult for a lot of old school fans that have been at Villa Park and have maybe a season ticket in the North Stand. And, because I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing they'll still have their seat, but there's probably lots of people that want a seat in that stand, and probably a fair chunk of that stand will go to the corporates. So, what are your thinking on that?
I mean, as long as the club can, I'm a bit both, Scott. I'm a bit Scott. As long as the club can make good money out of it, or for it. Obviously, how long it's going to take as well, because obviously there's just people going to be sitting on seats for a period of time, making less money and whatnot. So, will it be done before the start of next season? It's a lot of what ifs, in my opinion. That's how I kind of see it.
Well, no, I heard today it's going to be done before the Euros in 2027. Is it?
Yeah, okay.
2020. So because Villa Park are hosting some games for that Euros, so it'll probably be 2 seasons of a restricted North Stand or maybe a complete North Stand shut down. I don't know, and empty.
Yeah.
So, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But I mean, look. Hopefully we get, Michael's making some good points here, saying there's a lot of development going on. There's a lot of planning going on. So I'm sure the owners and the Chris Heck and everyone involved is, going to try and make it so the atmosphere on game day is still there, and we still, we don't diminish the capacity too much. But in the end, sometimes you've got to go through a year or two of pain to, have a, state of the art stadium. And of course, revenue and, getting every dollar out of, fans abroad and tourists and, corporate boxes and these sort of things is so important, especially in the era of PSR. I mean, look at someone like a club like Tottenham Hotspur, their new stadium, and the amount of money they're bringing in. That it's something that I know the owners have spoke about. So, it's exciting, but we shall have to wait and see. And, if you guys sit in the North Stand, let us know in the comments how you're feeling about it. So that's most of the news that has happened. Of course, okay, let's talk about the Champions League race, Noah. So Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, Spurs at home, Manchester United away. They're the last 4 fixtures for Villa. How many points do you think we need from those 4 games to get into the top 5?
10.
So you think 3 wins and a draw could do it? Because some people are saying we needed 11, and that was before the City game. So some people I've heard the magic number of 66 points. What are we on right now? Let's have a look at the table. Just bringing it up now. So we're on 57. So if 66 points is that's only 9 points. So that would mean 3 wins. But I guess with our goal difference, it might be a point more, maybe like 10 points, like you said. Because our goal difference is the worst out of all the teams chasing that top 5 spot. Hopefully, I could see us definitely beating Fulham, definitely beating Tottenham at home, right? So those 2 wins, they're not guaranteed. Obviously, they're both sides that can cause problems, but I think we can do that. So I guess it's the 2 away games, right? Bournemouth's not an easy place to go. And Man United, I mean, I don't know what we're going to, what sort of Man United we're going to face. Are they going to be in the Europa League? Are they going to be on the beach? Are they going to be, because I think potentially we could play them like the Sunday after the Europa League final. So, that's if they get through. So, it's look, I think it's going to come down to the wire, and we're probably, like Dickie says here, we're probably going to have to win all 4, just to be absolutely certain. So let's hope we can do that. Right. We're just going to do a quick, this is going to be a quick one tonight, guys, because Noah is, struggling with the Wi-Fi and everything. So we're just going to do our predictions and get out of here. So got the big FA Cup semi-final coming up against Crystal Palace. Really excited for that one. What are your predictions, Noah, for the Cup semi-final?
I was going to say, I can show people the view I've got as well from the apartment if you want as well.
Go for it.
It might be a bit windy. Let's do it. I'll quickly take everyone outside, have a squeeze at the skyline. Let's have a look at Goldie under the lights here. It's a lovely part of town. The beach is literally just over there. Can't really see too much. Very late at night, but and with this background, I think we're going to win 3-1.
3-1. Okay, I'm going to say 2-1 after extra time.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, 2-1 after extra time, I'm going to say. What about you guys in the comments? Do you think we could get through? And who do you think will play? Do you think it'll be Forest or City? I mean, obviously City would be the favourites, but I could see Forest maybe causing an upset. But I'd love to see that. A Villa Forest Cup final would be, would be exciting. It would be very exciting. So
great spectacle.
Definitely. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there because the Wi-Fi is just hanging in there for Noel. But look, thanks for all your support. Please like and subscribe to the pod, and we'll be back after the FA Cup semi-final against Crystal Palace. Exciting times. Make sure you join us for that. Until then, up the Villa, and good night.
Up the Villa.